Hey, Crawlspacers, you are in for a treat today. We've got two of the biggest Spider-Man collectors I know. They're have an exhibit that they're going to give us a tour of. So let's introduce Werner and Bruce. What's going on, fellas?
Hello.
How's it going?
How are you?
Honored to
Tell me what we're doing. We're showing off a superhero exhibit today, huh?
Yeah, it's a little bit more than a superhero exhibit, and unfortunately, I'm no longer one of the biggest collectors because we're moving the collection that I had that you profiled, some years ago.
Yeah.
Brad's moving that into a charity, so
I
it's
love
called
it.
Graf. Yeah, Graf Dairy Hero Foundation, and what we're aiming to do is to capture the love that all the kids in the new generation has for these characters, and use that as a front door to have them focus on the stoic virtues, say, of the heroes of our youth. So, for example, obviously, Spider-Man with the responsibility, right?
Yes.
So we've got a lot of cool things, and we just got done with Bruce's awesome presentation that some of you have seen probably at Comic Cons. And Bruce, did you do it? For Brad at some point, or was it?
No, not for Brad. I don't give it away for free, Brad. Yes.
I have to
He's
tell
seen
you,
pieces of it. He's seen pieces of it.
well,
I have, yes.
I had never seen it, always wanted to, and I finally saw it today. And he had folks laughing and crying, and it was well worth the wait. So, if folks get a chance, to catch Bruce at one of these Comic Cons coming up, you ought to do it because it's really worth it.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Now,
it's been.
go ahead, Bruce.
This exhibit, Brad, is only a small fraction of what the Graf Dairy Hero Foundation has in their possession, thanks to Werner. And it's on display for a couple of months, from now until October 19th here in Michigan City, Indiana, the Besnick Arts Center for the Arts here. So very small amount of items, but it's just like a preview of what's to come here in Michigan City whenever we get our own building for a permanent museum.
Yeah, Bruce is on our board, and it's a legitimate 501c3, all established, and Deb behind the camera is a board member, and it's we've got some of the most knowledgeable collectors on our board, along with a past president of Marvel, Terry Stewart. So it's a great organization. We're hoping to do good things, and we're hoping to excite kids through all this memorabilia that a lot of them haven't seen. And we'd like to start by showing you this, if you're interested.
Yeah, let's take a look at it real quick. That's an old comic. Oh, hold the horizontal.
Horizontal, Deb. They've got
Horizontal.
it.
There we go.
Getting close if you want to. Or back
Tell me
up,
about this. This is an old comic book vending machine. Looks like.
Believe it or not, so this is a hard-coded comic vending machine. It was hard-coded at 12 cents. We believe it was made in 1966. And here we are in July, and the books in the comic book machine are from July of 1966. So if the kids had gone into a bus station or a train station here in the Midwest, these were made in Illinois, and they were distributed mainly through the Midwest. So you'd see them from Iowa through Pennsylvania, basically, maybe as south as Tennessee or so. But they would go in a train station, and it was hard-coded at 12 cents. So once comics went to 15 cents, guess what? All these things got scrapped. And we're very fortunate. This was found in a 5 and dime that was being torn down in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and they opened up a back room, and it was in its original shipping box. So this was never displayed. So it's absolutely pristine. And these are the books that the kids would have seen in July of 1966. And one of them that's missing here is on the wall downstairs. We'll show it to you, but Fantastic 452 with the first appearance of the Black Panther. So a little bit of time capsule history for you.
So this is pre-spinner racks, isn't it? This is how they sold comics and
yeah, they had spinner racks, but where this would be is places where they didn't have like a checkout counter. So like I said, like a bus station, for example, like a cigarette machine, right? They'd have this in the corner, and the kids could go up and get their comic book and read it, on the ride.
I've never seen one in person, nor have I ever seen one besides you. Have you seen multiple of these? Did they survive the 60s?
I only know of one other, and it's beat up, and it's used. If you search the internet, there's multiple pictures of that machine. This is the only one that I've ever seen personally, and luckily, like I said, we've got it in pristine museum quality condition.
That's so cool. And if you want to see this in person, help me with the first name. I've got the website up. Lubizanek. How do you say it?
with the Z and then a Z after Lou Besnick.
Lou Besnick, Center for the Arts. You can check them out on their Facebook page. And
They're
this
open
is the
Tuesday.
Kapow Mighty Mythos Superhero Exhibit Tour. You guys are doing this until October, right? It started, launched on July 1st, right?
Yep, just this past week it launched. A lot of people come in already to see what we have going on here, but you know, the Besnick is in charge. They're showcasing the foundation pieces, and we're happy they are. But like what Werner said, this was a regional piece, Brad. It wasn't around the country, so a lot of places only had spinner racks.
Yeah. So Brad, I know that your audience is particularly interested in Spider-Man. The July 1966 Spider-Man was ironically the last Ditko Spider-Man. It was number 38. Spidey against a guy named Joe.
You're gonna make me cry here. The last Ditko.
The last Ditko. And that, Bruce, refresh me. That was a cut and paste Ditko cover, wasn't it? Because he didn't really draw the cover.
The cover was cut and paste. He didn't submit a cover for that issue.
Yeah. So I hope your audience will humor us a little bit because the exhibit is a little broader than just Spider-Man. But we'll highlight the Spider-Man stuff for sure, and we'll just glaze over some of the other stuff that might be of interest for you. All right?
No problem. Let's get a tour. Let's see what's next. What's up next?
I'll tell you what. We'll just go clockwise here. So from the Kirby Museum, there's Tom Morehouse signed this, and he put a collage together of every character that Kirby ever drew. So Spider-Man's in there somewhere, but this is basically a overarching collage tribute to Jack Kirby, and it's only available through the Kirby Museum.
Very cool. Very cool.
So very cool. Over here, this was a 1980 Colgate promotion. So you send away for a Captain America growth chart to Colgate, and kids would get it in the mail, and then they, mark their progress as they got closer to a 6-foot Captain America.
Nice. That's very cool.
We've got some stuff that's relatively common, so we'll go by this quickly. But you can see the old lunchbox from '76.
I've got that. And check out Spider-Man swinging on a rope instead of a web on that lunchbox.
Yeah,
every time Brad sees it, you want to talk about that rope.
I want to talk about that rope every time.
Very cool. And then, we just wanted to give the kids, and believe it or not, this is one of the most, they're very common, but it's one of the most popular areas of the museum. The kids are always jumping in here, and they love the old JAF stuff. They get a little interactive. They can go ahead and do the old.
Look at that viewfinder. Ooh, that's cool.
Very fun. And then this is a metal artist out of Cornwall, England, and he does some great metal sculpture in honor of comic book covers and panels and famous art. And so he basically transitions it to heavy metal, and you can see the homage to Ditko and to Ramita and so on. But his name is Martin Dollard, and he's been kind enough to let the foundation have a few quality pieces.
Nice. Love that. Very cool. That's right off the comic page, it looks like. Very nice.
There you go. We're trying to make sure the kids don't turn around just for a second, Deb. So we're trying to make sure that the kids don't keep touching the statues and we lose any. But
Bruce is the biggest kid in there. Get him away from it.
But we have the foundation has 14 statues. We only have 5 on exhibit here. But they're acrylic over plaster, and they're made by fan artist Fine T is her artist name, out of the Philippines. And they've done a
great job.
Yeah, like I said, it's a charity, and they were very, very accommodating to us in terms of price and shipping and so on. They did a beautiful job, and the other ones that they've done are great. And then the charity is actually going to start designing some statues with them, because as we put the permanent exhibit up, we want it to be like a Hall of Heroes, right, where the folks can come and take selfies, and the kids can take selfies with their heroes and so on.
Right. We have a mic in chat says, "OMG, I need to go to this museum." So.
So we got a few smattering of posters that are, relatively well known. The 1973 Silver Surfer. I think it's Europe. Is that a European poster? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
That was a UK specific poster with Mephisto in the background. Of course,
the most that one.
Yes, exactly. And of course, in my opinion, of course, I'm biased. I'm a John Romita fan, but the best cover in the history of comic books, because it has real pathos, 2 great characters, and of course, the turning point in Marvel history where they actually, in a very serious way, killed off a couple characters, right? So this is signed by John Romita. We had a conversation when I met with John back in 2004 about how he came up with the idea. And you guys have all heard these stories, I'm sure, but he was basically the driver of the thought that they ought to kill off Gwen Stacy. They wanted to do something dramatic. And in honor of that conversation, he had this thing and signed it and sent it to me years and years ago. So it's one of my treasured pieces.
Is it just a blown up poster, or what? I don't remember them doing prints of that.
Yeah, it's not it wasn't for sale or anything. It's just a blown up poster of the cover. Somebody did it with reverence. It's, got the pixels in it. You can see it. It's not the highest quality thing. It hasn't been redigitized or anything, but it does the job, right? It takes
that Romita signature, man. That looks great.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We'll go by this one because I know you guys have some other things that you want to see here, but this is
Super 8.
This is really cool stuff here. So, Deb, maybe you want to show them this here. So the cartoon obviously is a favorite of Bruce and I, and it was the start for a lot of us in terms of our love of the character. This is the original working papers from the Spider-Man theme song. And they had multiple.
Cool.
Yeah, so they had multiple copies of this that went around in a conference room at Marvel. And if you look here, there's a verse that Stan Lee changed. We have this, which is being displayed, but we also have the handwritten copy that Stan Lee struck out the line. Go ahead, Bruce, and show them. And he struck the line out and rewrote it.
At the very bottom, the original lyric was the scene of a crime like a bird in flight. And we all know it is now like a streak of light, is what Stan suggested to change.
That's better. I like that version, the Stan Lee suggestion, because it makes it sound like Superman's.
Yeah, we don't want to be flying like a bird.
Yeah,
you don't want to fly like a bird or leaps single bounds and stuff like that. Yeah.
And just really quick, Deb, this is a one of the panel working papers as they would plot out the cartoons. They did storyboards, and this is an original storyboard paper from the development of the cartoon.
Nice. That's very cool.
So now, as Deb was showing, this is the only. Woo-hoo. All good?
Oh, I see Deb. Hi, Deb.
Hey, Deb.
Flip back.
There you go.
There she is. There you go.
This is the only one known in existence that I know of. Bruce, maybe you can correct me.
I've never seen one.
Believe it or not, this was out of a display box for the 1976 cartoons that were put on Super 8. And these were all the 1966 Marvel superhero cartoons, as well as selected episodes of the Spider-Man 67 cartoon. All right. And this was a display box right here in Michigan City. I begged the owner of Cable's Hardware to give me this backdrop when they were done, and he was kind enough to do it. And now we have all the Super 8s displayed with the original display box that was point of sale.
Now, did the Super 8s have audio, or was it just video on it? Or was it just like a normal film?
They had
sound.
It's
got sound. There it is, sound. Oh, they were black and white, too. Okay.
Some color, some were black and white.
Yep.
That's cool.
It'll look on the book. Yes.
Now, like I said, these two pieces frame out the entrance to the 67 cartoon video viewing room. And the kids can come in here and decompress and watch an episode of the 67 cartoon.
Awesome. You got J. Jonah Jameson just ranting at Bruce right now.
Yeah. Bruce, sometimes he gets overwhelmed his emotions in here and he comes and just sits for hours.
This is your therapy, Bruce. Lay down. There you go.
You can see on the walls what we decided to do, since we had the advantage of having a dark room, is we put some of the 1970 third light, black light posters on. So these are original black light posters, and a lot of times folks never see them under the black light, but they are phenomenal with the black light. So they almost look backlit.
Yeah, they do. Those are 60s, 70s trippy. I love them.
Yeah. And I think there were about 23, 24 of them in the set. The foundation has, I think, 19 of them, so we still need to close out about 5 that we will. And there's just a selection of 3, 5, 8 of them in here, plus the point of sale.
Didn't Kirby do one with Sentinels and Spider-Man hitting them? And then Romita redid it, I think.
That wasn't the black light. That was just the Marvel Mania poster, Brad.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there's very few of those that exist before they switched it over to the Ramita.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are the black light ones that light up.
Was
This
there a
room is-
Spider-Man blacklight one?
There's actually two. There's one by himself and one was with Namor, the Submariner. So
Yes, I remember those. Yeah.
we do have them in the collection.
#1 Marvel fan in chat said that there's a replica poster set out there. I remember seeing a book too that they put out. I think of those.
Yeah, in the last 2 or 3 years, they came out with the replicas, a little smaller, but cool to have at an affordable price.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, too expensive to get these.
Werner, where do you find those posters? Those are hard to find.
Yeah, very hard. And this one, like Werner said, this was the point of sale one. You know, at the counters whenever you're going to buy these posters, buy the boxes.
Werner, do you remember where you found those?
Oh, this is over 20 years of collecting. I did get a set from one person about 4 years ago, but I can't remember where they all came in from.
Awesome. Very cool. Love it, guys.
Well, just say you got them from me, and I want them back. I'd say it. I can't remember.
So at the this is an art center, so we have a whole bunch of readers over there in the 1960s rack.
Oh,
And
let's go see that comic rack. I love that comic rack.
Not a big deal, but the kids get to pull out comic books, old comic books, and they get to trace them. And then what they do is they put their art over and they take their picture in front of this issue #1 vinyl on the wall, and they do a lot of selfies. So a lot of fun for them.
Very cool. Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. I love that old rack.
Yeah, and that's an old side panel from another rack.
Oh, yeah. Very
We
cool.
just took it off and used it as art.
Love it. Love it.
Well, let's go downstairs and see the rest of the exhibit. So
Deb, be careful. There's stairs.
Yeah. We're in the upstairs now, so this is actually the thing that they probably see last.
Okay.
But this is where they come in, and because it's the Graf Dairy UK, because it's the Graf Dairy Hero Foundation, we got a lot of dairy promotions stuff on the walls, and we'll just talk about a few of the posters here. So this, Brad, this was off a 1999 promotion for Chicago RTA, the Rapid Transit Association. And this is an unused vinyl. They put these things on the sides of buses, and it ran for about 3 months. And the RTA was kind enough to give me a vinyl that they did not use on a bus, the one that they had extra back in 1999.
Does Spider-Man have the milk mustache?
Oh, yeah,
He does.
Yeah, look at that. I remember those ads. Yep, there's the milk mustache.
And then in '66, to correspond with the Adam West Batman, series, the All-Star Dairy Company had a whole series of Superman and Batman and Robin dairy promotions: ice cream, fruit drinks, chocolate milk. This is a very rare poster. Only 3 of them known to exist. And this is a poster that the grocery stores would put into the windows of the grocery store to advertise that the Batman milk was being sold there. And it's huge, as you can see. So very happy to have this in the collection for the foundation.
Tell you, DC is like Marvel. They put Superman with peanut butter, right? And then they got Batman with milk.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it? And that's one of the Spider-Man posters from the same promotion.
Oh, I remember that one. That was on the back of a lot of comics back in the 90s. I remember that.
Yeah, but the posters are harder to find, but they're out there. Cool stuff.
That's cool.
All right, let's go into the coup de grace, the real fun area here.
The Kapow area, if you will.
The Kapow area. So again, the whole key, and the Lebesnick Center did a nice job doing this, but we are emphasizing the virtues, right? We're emphasizing that kids can be heroes even if they don't have superpowers. All they have to do is act like a hero. All they have to do is be chivalrous and take responsibility, show courage, integrity, and so on. So we're trying to emphasize those as the kids come in and go crazy with some of the exhibits. And this is also a nice combination of memorabilia, true art, and then like commercial art, right? And we have a lot of artists that we've showcased and so on. So in fact, I'll let Bruce talk about a few of these things because he's an expert in a lot of what's in this case.
Brad knows a lot about this case too, but if you want to see anything in the case specifically, Brad, And we have some cool
Oh,
stuff
that
on the
looks awesome.
Yeah, we got some cool
Ah,
stuff.
you got the finger puppets, it looks like.
Yeah, display box.
We do a little avant-garde. We do a display box, a display case of display boxes. So a lot of these are the point of sale stuff, which is close to my heart. I love the commercialized things, right? So some of the things just to point out is that Marvel Flyers point of sale box is full of the 12 flyers. All 12 flyers are in there, and if you open those up, Deb, if you want to throw that poster up there, that's the way the flyers would look, and that's pulled out of Joe Ballman's book. So we wanted the kids to see what was inside the wrappers without taking the wrappers off.
And those probably didn't last more than a week once you got them out of the box. That's why they're so rare.
Green Styrofoam. As Deb's showing you, we have two of the most rarest toys out there, which are the Ideal hand puppets, which are sealed in their original cellophane and header. And then the 1977 Send-Away glove, which again, like the gliders, was very delicate. The bubble would burst in their hand and then they throw it away. And because this wasn't sold retail, there's very few of them out there, right? So we don't know of too many of them, right, Bruce? I mean,
Brad, I don't know if you remember this one, but in the comics around 1977,
I do.
it was by this Jumar Enterprises, and that's the only thing we ever heard of them making. And it was available.
Oh, really?
And it was the only thing available in their ad in the comics. And it was a squirting Spider-Man glove. And I've never seen one in person. You know, people have told me they've had it. I've never seen a picture, but some of us thought it didn't even exist.
Yeah,
you know, so I saw that Werner had it, and it came with a water bottle. It's down in the case down there.
Yep.
The water bottle that you fill up the glove with is that.
Oh,
is that
crazy.
Yes.
So that hole in the thing, is it in the wrong spot? Is it like the symbiote suit off the top of the hand?
That's probably the palm. See down here in the pictures.
Oh, that's the palm. Okay.
And then you push and you come out the
Okay,
same
good. They got the web shooter in the right spot then.
Yeah, in the right spot. Isn't that funny? It probably lasted, Werner said, like 2 or 3 squirts and you're done.
Yeah.
You pop the bubble. You pop the bubble, and that's why we can't find any, because people threw them all away.
Oh, yeah, man, that's rare.
and
At least they got the hyphen right on the Spider-Man. That's
Yes,
good.
they got the hyphen. We always
I know. He's a purist.
Yes, the hyphen.
He's a purist. He likes to, like Stan Lee made sure he had the hyphen so he wasn't confused with Superman, right? So
And
here,
Werner, yeah, Werner, look at those little cars. We showed that on the last show. Those are very rare, aren't they?
yeah, they're I think 1967. They're extremely rare in and of themselves. The folks that are lucky enough to have them in the packaging, like I think Cy Winnie has them in the package with the header. Those are off the charts rare. But yeah, very rare and very difficult to get, especially in these conditions. All of these, the friction works, and they're just beautiful toys. I just wish I had the original packaging for it. You might recognize for the real collectors out there, the Fleetwood Bank is an extremely rare toy, especially with an undamaged box. So
I've never seen that.
It is. It's the cutest toy in the world. You can see in the picture on the box, we don't have the toy actually. You know, I didn't want them to play with it. You know, I just had to take it out and be very careful, right? But you can see how they have a double Captain America Spider-Man that reaches out and grabs the coin, you know, off the bank. So I just love that. And then a couple other fun things for the non-Spider-Man guys. That's the first merchandising that we know of for Master of Kung Fu. You know,
the necktie?
The white necktie, yeah.
Huh.
And then the same thing for Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, or now Power Man. So we picked out the 2 rarest ties of the tie group and put them in there so people could see them.
I've never seen those.
Yeah, some fun stuff.
And if you look behind those little train sets, those Spider-Man vitamins in the 1980s, I had them, and they're horrible. They taste bad, but they're cool.
That is an unopened Spider-Man vitamin C, which is now all RFI'd. So it would be nasty if we opened it, but that is an unopened.
Dude, it was nasty in the 80s.
Yeah. Point taken. Absolutely. So, yeah, so we call this the case of happiness for the collectors, you know, to come in and see some of the promotional items and the old toys that folks would look at.
We got number 1 Marvel fan in chat wants to know if you got the Ben Cooper Jugglers counter set.
The Jugglers.
Right here up on top of
we
the flyer.
have one up on top, but we also have, it didn't make the cut because we ran out of room, but we have the display box for the Ben Cooper Jigglers also.
Oh, that's cool. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and you can see the alternative version of the TV puppet, of the hand puppet, I should say.
Yep. In the
TV
box,
figure.
yeah.
And that's an original box, Brad. Those are rare too. Maybe only 5 or 6 known to exist right now. There's repro boxes out there, but that's an original box.
Yep.
All righty.
All right.
So we'll start the art part of the exhibit, and a lot of stuff that we have coming up is ephemeral stuff, and we've pieced in some of the statues and so on. But this is, obviously Frank Werner, one of the great Doctor Strange artists, and the original art that we have, we tried to pair the artist with one of the characters that they're known for, right? And so that's the theme, the common theme that you'll see in the original art in the exhibit. A lot of folks will recognize the 1975 Comic-Con poster, and we have a lot of things didn't make the cut, for the exhibit, but we have the original badge that somebody would get for it, and we do have the bag. So we framed the bag so people could see, what they would get as they came into the 1975 convention.
I didn't go. I was busy being born in '75.
Well, I don't know where your priorities were. You should have.
Bert, life.
Yeah, that's not very busy, Brad. That's just laying around.
Ooh, look at that. First appearance of Black Panther.
Yeah, we got him paired up with the statue. So another acrylic over plaster statue that they made. I think they just did a beautiful job on it.
That's a great looking.
Do you know this
statue,
piece, Bruce?
Well, of course, Stan made a lot of visits around different places, and this is one of the promotional pieces with going to meet him at Markham Street Village on June 30th. So we just missed him by about a week.
Yeah,
June 30th. So
he was up in Canada.
Yeah, in Canada there, and just to find a piece like that, it's hard to come by because they were torn down and thrown away. Who kept them? So we have one here.
So this is the Stan Lee part. We kind of do a running theme, right? So you're going to see some of the artists grouped together, and this is our Stan Lee portion, and of course the iconic Foom poster. This was the cover on a Foom edition, I think number 5, maybe
17.
Right?
I'm a Foom fan. I'm the Foom fan.
Foom.
And we knew who painted that, by the way. I know Stan had that in his office for years.
His name's Sawyer.
Yep.
Okay.
Tom, I think was the first name. Tom Sawyer.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, the story behind that is he liked the Carnegie Hall poster so much that he wanted another version done, which blended the heroes. And of course, this is from the disastrous Carnegie Hall appearance where Stan Lee, had a kind of a slapshot show put together, and fans were not all that pleased with it. But it's a piece of iconic history, in comicdom. And of course, we got one of the Spider Stan pieces of art that he would do infrequently. If somebody got him more than a handshake, they would
That's
get lucky
cool.
to get a sketch from him. This is probably the most important piece in the exhibit. If you remember,
Smoke him if you got him.
yeah, I showed this to you, years ago, right, Brad? But this is the comics department sign from when Stan Lee shared a cubicle with Stan Goldberg, the famous colorist and Archie artist, and when Stan was first promoted to editor of Timely Comics before it was Marvel. So this is immediately after he got promoted and took over for Joe Simon, he decided that the title deserved a sign. So they went ahead and had a comics department sign made. And
Was that on his desk or on the door?
No, from what I understand, it was on the cubicle. Like they had a cubicle.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And it was on the side of the cubicle. And the story is that Stan Goldberg kept it. Later, they both signed it, and it went to Christie's for auction, maybe even for a charity. The buyer of it from Christie's was one of our board members, Terry Stewart, right, who was the CEO of Marvel, and he was trying to buy back memorabilia that was important to the Marvel enterprise. And then Marvel didn't necessarily want to spend money on that, so he put his own money into it, and he sold it on his own on auction. And one of our other board members, Lynch Heim, bought it, and then I acquired it from him like 15 years ago or so. So it was, but this is where it stops. It's not going nowhere else. That comic department sign has found its own. This is a deck of cards that they used in the Marvel offices. So you know those guys were always trying to hit deadlines when they were in the bullpen, so they were chain smokers and playing cards to get a little bit of a break. And when I had
You got any Marvel poker chips to go along with his cigs and the cards?
But I remember John Romita saying that they were playing cards, and he always wished he had kept the deck. And this is an unopened double deck of the Marvel cards from their office.
You know you hit it big when they save your ashtray and they save your cubicle sign. You know you're that's how well loved you are. That's so cool.
For the Kirby fans, you know that he did a lot of personal appearances, and then he would take prints of his artwork and he'd sign them at personal appearances. And the Kirby art that we have here is all signed by Jack. This was used for the Kirby art exhibit that was at, oh my God, I should read the card on my own stuff, but the original poster of this was, they made about 100 of them, I think, and it had an announcement here of, I think it was for the Artists Museum, and they did a Kirby exhibit, and it showed the Artists Museum time and all that. We've got the original poster, but Kirby liked his original art here so much that he had smaller prints made of it, and he would hand these out to people that he met at the Marvel offices. Apparently, he had a stack of them in the Marvel offices, and he would sign them and then hand them out to fans as they drop by his cube.
Very cool.
And then again, another classic Kirby, piece of work with his signature on it.
Yeah.
And so we transitioned from that to the send-away posters that they had in the early 70s, right? Or was it 69?
Nice.
70, 71.
70. Yeah. So yeah, the black light posters were 71, these are 70. And we've got the whole set in the foundation, but this is the 4 that the curator wanted to pick out.
Hey, Deb, can you get a little closer to Werner? We can't really hear him that well.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
There we are.
No, so these were the send-away posters for Marvel Mania in 1970. We've got the whole set, it includes even the Black Knight, who's a little bit of a lesser character back then, but they were trying to introduce him. The curator didn't realize, I think, that this is her trim, but she wanted to get like a bit of a Kirby wall here.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
I think I shared this with you before. We won't spend much time on it, but of the 100 bronzes that Randy Bowen produced for the classic Ditko stance and Spider-Man, 35 of them, the first 35 that were sold, got a Peter Parker bronze. And then this was a ring made from the base of the statue. And then this particular one is a Randy Bowen artist proof. So there were 3 artist proof. He kept one we don't know where it is, and this is the 3rd, as far as I know. And he's got it signed on the bottom, and this was not numbered, so this is invaluable. These things have already been sucked up by collectors. You can't find them anymore on auction or anything. But obviously, we got the artist proof of the Parker statue and the artist proof of the bronze, which is invaluable to me.
Nice.
Yeah. And now we go to a lot of fan favorites. My favorite, Bruce. I don't know, if your
If I
favorite.
could take one thing home with me, Brad, I'd take that bronze.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking the bronze.
But you can't. You'd be better off trying to get the sign out because you can't fit the bronze in your costume there.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna throw out your back, Bruce.
So we have a homage to the artists like Kirby, and now this is the John Romita wall. Each person on the wall, we had somebody draft a personal reflection of the person. So like Stan Lee, Terry Stewart talked about his time with Stan Lee working one-on-one on building Marvel when he was the CEO. For Kirby, we had Tom Morehouse from the Kirby Museum write it. I reflected on Romita, given my relationship with him and my love for him. We had Aaron Sultan talk about Marie Severin, for example, since he wrote the book on her. But this is our John Romita wall. Again, some of these we've shared already, so I won't belabor them, but this is his great work from Cap 144, where Nick Fury is pitching life model decoys to Tricky Dick Nixon. And this is the acetate for the cover of that book.
I love the Romita Spider-Man split face one that you got on the left there.
Oh yeah. So
On the bottom. Okay,
yeah. So
that one looks so cool.
It's a good point. You got a good eye, Brad. This deserves a couple seconds. So obviously, Romita was famous for the split face of Parker and Spider-Man, right? And he signed this one here for us, and and this is our homage to him. But this, just to talk about the talent that this guy had. When I had lunch with him, he said, "Hey, look, I'll draw you a sketch. What do you want?" All right. And I had it in my head. I knew exactly what I wanted. I idolized John Romita. He's the reason I got into comic collecting. And I said, "Look, you got that split Spider-Man Parker, but Parker's not Spider-Man. You're Spider-Man." I said, "Here, I'm going to throw the gauntlet down. You know, can you draw me a self-portrait with Spider-Man on half your face?" And he was like, "Are you kidding? I've never been asked that. I don't know if I can do it," because think about how tough it is to do a self-portrait.
Yeah.
And he had no mirror. I thought he would say, "Yeah, I'll take it. Let me send it to you in a couple of weeks," right? At the table, over the course of a 10-minute period, this is what the man sketches: pencil, and then he did a hard line ink on it.
Well, Werner, I hope you bought the man lunch.
Yeah, well, I think he realized how much he was adored by the folks that were sitting.
Oh,
with him.
I had that Romita poster. It's the first time I ever saw him draw Venom.
Yeah, and it's a great point. Again, a good eye, Brad. This is a little out of our strike zone because I typically collected 70s, maybe early 80s at the very least,
90s,
right?
right there, yeah.
Yeah, but this is so beautiful, and it's so iconic, Romita, and of course we have Stanley and John signed it for us in '91.
Yep.
And this
That was
poster,
on my wall for a long time.
This poster, Brad, when I had a chance to go to John's house for that afternoon, this was actually in his studio on the wall. So it was significant enough to him to have it in his studio on the wall.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Great poster.
I would have certainly, as most fans would, I would have certainly loved to have the Goblin there instead of Hobgoblin, but we'll take what we can get. It's just still a brilliant, thing. So this is kind of cool, very rare, right? You very see these great artists, especially Romita, do a watercolor. All right, so this was his in-color sketch for a variant of the comic book price guide that was done. It was a variant of the Overstreet. Yeah, good. There's a picture of it.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So they did that for the Hero. There's another thing called the Hero Foundation. It raised money for artists that never got a cut of all the good work that they did. Right. So this is the pen over pencil and then colored by John, and then it got repainted because he did a collaboration for the actual comic book cover. And you can see just some variations. Like in John's original, Thor doesn't have the hammer, but the hammer is in the final product. This, like a few other covers, there's a cover that he did with Electro, which I think is actually better than the one Stan Lee chose. This one, I thought Roy Thomas and Stan Lee made a mistake. This is the 142 cover that Romita originally came up with, and they settled on the one where he's shooting a web through he's raising his head like the Headless Horseman and he's shooting a web, and Spider-Man's shocked. And I was like, oh, come on, he's shocked. It's Mysterio, it's a hallucination, But this looks like he's really...
Yeah, he's getting his butt whooped there. Yeah, I like that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought that would have made a much more dramatic cover, but it's great pencil by John. This is, again, something colorful for the wall, but that was a comic store poster, and
Love that.
obviously, my nickname is Rip. So when John got to know me, he started calling me Rip, which is wonderful. Now we get back to some really cool art. Dick Ayers, right? So this is his sketch of Sergeant Fury. This was done after 9/11. And then, of course, he's got the Howling Commandos there. And then we imprinted a real U.S. dog tag with Sergeant Fury's stats.
Cool.
So that, and Dick Ayers was very happy that was done. It was a nice thing. This is, Steranko very rarely did commissions and so on. Very rare to get something. He did this sketch for a charity. And we picked it up, and then we paired it with these toy replicas, right? That were done by, I can't remember the company. It probably says it on there, right? Factory X. So these were done in 2002 by Factory X. And we thought it was really cool since he had the gun in the holster and a shield emblem. So that just paired up beautifully. And I got to give hint, we have a board member out of Miami. His name is Lynch Heim. And he's the guy that thought of a lot of this original art and paired it with the really cool framing and so on. This is a Jim Mooney. I bought this because I live near Washington's Crossing. So I bought this before original art became exorbitantly expensive and prohibitive, for guys like me. But this was the Jim Mooney calendar shot for December for the 1776 calendar. And Deb, if you want to show them this,
Oh yeah.
you know, if we take a look back at that beautiful calendar, there's the final product of the original art there, right?
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
well, it looks like on the original art, Spider-Man's on there, but he's not on the calendar.
So here's the backstory on that. And I took this piece of original art to John Romita, and again, this was before original art was off the charts, right? And I told him that one of the reasons that I bought this art was because it was sold to me as John Romita doing the inks. That Mooney did the pencil, Romita did the inks.
Yeah.
And when I met with him, I said, John, you did the inks on this apparently, but only Mooney has signed it. I'd like you to sign it for me. And he said, and this was his exact words. I mean, I was like, 45 years old, and he said, kid, kid, I never touched this thing. He goes, I was the editor, I approved it. So I might have signed something on the back or stamped it, but I never touched it. That's all Mooney. And I said, well, and I asked him, I said, well, I'm devastated. I thought this was your work, and I said, would you do me a favor? I said, draw like a little boat in the background or something that I can pair it with, just so I have some of your work to go with this thing that I bought, that I'm and look, Mooney is brilliant. I love Jim Mooney, right? But again, I was a Romita bigot, right? So and he goes, yeah, let me figure something out. And he takes the piece of original art from me. And I'm like, at that point, I'm clutching my chest. It's like, that's not what I was hoping for. I was hoping that you'd like make something, but I didn't want to argue with him. You got this great artist, he's going to do something, right? So 6 weeks later, I get this back. And of course, the purists are not going to be happy because he altered the original art. But what he did was he expertly drew, and then pasted in Spider-Man warming Stan Lee in the back of the boat of this iconic piece of art. So now it is a multi-year, multi-artist collaboration for the December panel of and of course it recreates the crossing of the Delaware by Emmanuel Lex. Let's talk about this because this is really cool to us. Again, our wonderful artist Fine T from the Philippines crafted a brilliant Captain America statue.
Yep, looks beautiful.
On a shield pedestal.
Oh, Deb, get a little closer to him. I can't hear him.
Oh.
There you go.
I wanted you to see the pedestal.
Oh, I see it. It looks awesome. Ooh, he's on a base of his shield too. I love that.
There you go. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that looks awesome.
So there's Captain America, and if you notice, he's standing in front of the Declaration of Independence.
Very nice.
So what we're doing is life imitating art. Well, actually, it's art imitating life, imitating art. All right, and and if you look at the Captain America July.
Oh, okay. You're modeling it after the calendar. Very nice.
Got it. So we've got this. Here we are opening Independence Week, right? So we've got this nice homage to our patriotic founders, and the Declaration of Independence is actually a piece of art in and of itself. It hung in Philadelphia City Hall from 1964 to 1992 when they renovated City Hall. It was a gift from the A&P supermarkets to I think the city. It was like an anniversary of Philadelphia's incorporation or something like that. I have to look it up. But it hung in City Hall for about 30 years, and we picked that up on auction, and we're pairing it forever with the Captain America statue to recreate Romita's panel.
I love the blue. They did great painting that thing. The blue's popping off of him.
Isn't that fun? Isn't that funky?
Looks really good.
However good it looks on the screen, it looks better right here. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Got a little Captain America movie poster, huh?
Yeah. So this is from the 40s when they did the serials.
Yeah.
So that is an original poster. It would have been in the movie houses. This is Joe Simon, a very late commission before his death. Of his, because you guys all know that Joe Simon and Jack Kirby were the creators of Captain America. So we're honored to have a Joe Simon original art on color, which is a very rare thing again. Another John Romita. This was we can't find maybe your audience can help us on this, but this is John Romita. We think he was shaking George Bush's hand in an anti-drug book, or maybe a FBI book. You know how they did those promotions with comics.
Yep.
But we cannot figure out whether this was ever published or not. It's a John Romita sketch of Cap.
Yep, I remember those books. Yeah.
We have
the slushy. Oh, nice.
So
the Slurpees, not slushies.
Slurpee. Well, believe it or not, it was all. They did icy, slushies, Slurpees. Marvel ran the whole gamut with these frozen Coke drinks. All right. We have almost every poster. I think there's one that we're missing in the foundation. There's about, I want to say there's about there's 6 total posters. There's 2 things that hang in the wall. And then the thing that we're missing is 7-Eleven had a huge banner that said, "Come get your superhero cup." I love that banner, but it doesn't have any graphics on it. But I think that's the only thing the foundation is missing. They didn't pick all this stuff, you know, because we're running out of wall space, but these 2 posters paired nicely. And then Deb, if you want to show them the Slurpee that hangs.
Oh yeah, that was over the Slurpee machine, right?
You got it. That would hang
Yeah, that's cool.
Very difficult things to get, guys, because it's all point of sale stuff, right? If you didn't have a friendly store manager that would take mercy on you as a kid that really wanted this stuff, you never got it and it went in the trash.
Yeah, it was in the trash can. You had to go in the back of the shop and pick it out of the trash, and it'd be destroyed probably.
I was not beneath doing that. I've never timed it.
Werner's an original dumpster diver back in the 70s, evidently.
So, you know, sticking with our point of sale theme, we have the point of sale poster for the 23 by 35 Thought Factory posters. And you can see that, and the curator really liked these because it was a different kind of art. And so she wanted to mix it up a little bit. But here we have the Hulk, the Spider-Man, the Wonder Woman, and we have a Thor, which isn't pictured here. But this is the poster that you'd see in the store to go buy the other posters that were in the store. To kind of look at.
That'd be right next to where all the tubes are, where you got number A, B, or whatever it is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Is George watching tonight?
Oh, that's a rare Stegron on it, huh? Yeah. Look at that.
Crawlspace was George loves Stegron. He always talks about Stegron.
We love Stegron here at the Crawlspace.
I have that poster. My gosh.
What year is that poster, by the way? When did that come out?
Yeah, I think it's 77.
77.
77. Okay. Very cool.
This is a Franklin Mint. It's a stunning statue. Very expensive now. They weren't rare at the time, but now they're harder and harder to find. It's porcelain on crystal. And we've got the whole suite of, you know, authenticity stuff in the shipping box and everything. But it makes for a very nice display piece.
Here, another question, Werner. When you get the big museum that you want, do you have all those Slurpee cups from 7-Eleven? That would pair perfectly with those posters behind it.
We do. There's actually multiple years of that, and then you got to remember there's multiple variations. They have the icy cups and so on.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty good on that. I think we have them all. But
awesome. That'd be really cool.
The problem, Brad, is a lot of this stuff is still in boxes, right?
Yeah.
So actually what we have. In fact, Bruce and I just walked through we have a bunch of stuff in a warehouse now. And Bruce and I just walked by and I just showed him. I said, "Here, Bruce, look at this." And I just opened one of the plastic bins. I said, "I haven't even been in through this thing, you know." So we pulled out what we could to give these guys at Lebesnik a good cross section of stuff, and then they curated it to see, because we didn't want it to be just a collector's eye, right? They got excited about stuff that I didn't necessarily get excited about, and then I told them, "This is really rare. You got to put that in," you know. And we had a nice collaboration on that.
That's cool.
So. Now we got
Woman Power. What we got now?
All right, Woman Power. We got the Black Widow statue from Fine Tea, and like I said, we had 5 statues make the cut, but we got 13 in the foundation. And then this is our Marie Severin wall. So this is the original art. It was in 1967 to begin with. It was in a card that Marvel sent to some Comic-Con goers. All right, and it was a season's greeting card, Christmas card, and so on. And then they reused it again in 1969. And then originally this did not have the Earth in the background, but when they used the art for the 1976 Comic-Con, MarvelCon convention, she added that Earth on there, and it made the cut on the bag. So this was just like the 1975 bag that you saw. This was the 1976 bag that if you went to that MarvelCon, you had all your little goodies in there.
I always liked her. She was a great female artist. She had a great run on the Hulk. When the Hulk launched in his own book out of Tales of Astonish,
Absolutely.
She was one of the opening artists of the Hulk mag.
No, you're exactly right. And you know, I like her too, but I like her because of this person. I just think this irreverent, you know, really fun, quirky style. It was just so brilliant because, you know, everybody draws these comic characters seriously. To make them a joke is a real talent. And of course, because of that, we've got the 13 issues of Not Brand X to show people the brilliance of Marie Severin.
Yeah. I remember her in the 80s when I started reading. She also did cool illustrations to subscribe to Marvel Comics. He had like Hulk with a pipe and sitting by the fireside chat. I remember that, and Spider-Man peeking down the chimney. She did some great art there too.
The Foundation has an original Forbish Man art sketch from Marie Severin, and I couldn't find it. So we're
Yeah, I dug her stuff. It's cool.
Organization. Oh, look at the shirts.
She did a takeoff on the shirts, Brad, from the
Oh, look at that, Bruce.
Spidey Man and the Mighty Soar.
The Mighty Soar. Very
never,
cool.
Never recognized it. I know it was funny because they broke, for the folks that love these books like I do, they broke windows, right? I mean, that was, as the artists say. At the last page of one of these books, and I can't remember which one it is, it had the Avengers reading the book, and they were upset that they were being made fun of in Not Brand X. So if the kids reading the Not Brand X book, and they're not saying, okay, the Avengers aren't real. They're saying the Avengers are real. They're reading it too, and they're just Stan Lee was making fun of them.
Right. Also, hey Bruce, you just got that 60s Spider-Man shirt, didn't you?
Yeah, about.
You finally tracked it down?
Finally got one, yes.
Oh, awesome! That was one of your holy grails, I remember.
Holy Grail. I only got 1,000 more Holy Grails to get. Some of them are in this room, so I might be going home with some.
Bruce, being a board member, Bruce actually doesn't realize yet that he actually owns some of this stuff. Well, not owns, but he's a steward.
I'm a steward of it. I'm a steward, Brad. I'm not
There you go.
So, guys, this is again. This keeps with our theme of artists with classic characters that they drew that we love. I would have loved to have an Iron Man George Tuska because I always associate Tuska with Iron Man. I haven't been able to track it down yet, but these were just beautiful renditions that we couldn't pass up, right? So George did a commission on the original 1966 X-Men. He did some Luke Cage and some Power Man work, so we got that. Neil Adams, who everybody knows is more associated with the Batman franchise, was also one of the early illustrators of Havoc, so we got that. And of course, Jim Starlin with Captain Marvel and all of his cosmic stuff. How can you have a Daredevil without honoring Gene Colan? Right.
Ooh, look at that! Look at that perception way down to the ground. Look at that. That looks slick.
Yeah, it's very rare to get his girlfriend. I mean, that's a minor character, right? And there she is. So
you get Karen Page too. Nice.
It's very rare. Yeah. This is Paul Galassi's work. This is one of the earliest depictions of Shang-Chi, and you can see he still has the yellow skin before they decided that having yellow skin on Shang-Chi was promoting racism. So they've since moved it to more white, which I think maybe that's racism. I have no idea, but I love this thing. It's just a beautiful piece of work, and it's by the iconic artist of an iconic character. Gil Kane did a lot. He did everything, right? But he was one of the keys for the Warlock franchise. Dave Cochran did a number of Iron Fist books, so we have him. And again, these are all paired together because it's rare, guys, to get color original art commissions, right? It's not, they don't necessarily like to take the time a lot of times in these things. So to have that is very nice. Herb Trimp, we have kind of sister pieces that they split here. But we have a Herb Trimp here where he does his transforming Hulk. And we have Herb Trimp here in the original costume that he did for the Wolverine. And we know that, Herb wasn't necessarily the originator of those characters, but he certainly had a great run for him. Had the pleasure of meeting Keith Pollard a couple of weeks ago. Debbie was with me, right?
Yeah, that was neat.
Wonderful man, wonderful wife. And we met him at the Superhero Hall over in Elkhart, Indiana. And this is one of his brilliant recreations of the Nova cover.
I'm going to have to get with you. I've been trying to find a contact for Keith Pollard. I'd love to talk to him about co-creating the Black Cat.
Well, we have his number, so we'll
awesome,
share.
Awesome.
And then this
love
is
Keith Pollard.
Yeah, just don't hear much about him, but he's just a brilliant illustrator, as you can see. And then of course Rich Buckler for
Deathlock,
his original Deathlock series, and no art show would be complete without a beautiful muscle rendition of Conan by John Buscema. So
that's beautiful.
And then John's over here too. He didn't do many Spider-Mans, but somebody at the convention asked him to do a Spider-Man sketch, so we got that in there. Yep. And then finally Frank Thorne, one of the classic Red Sonja artists, and that caps our display. Except for Bruce, if you want to introduce your statue here.
I don't know.
Ah, there you go.
I don't know if you ever heard of this character, Brad. He's not well known.
Is it Webman? No.
It's it's of course our Spider-Man Crawlspace Spider-Man, and it's a place where kids are running in and saying Spider-Man during this exhibit. It's fun to see them come over to see Spidey. Glad that Werner has Spidey here.
We're 5 days into the exhibit. One of them was a holiday. All right, actually 2 of them. They're off on Tuesday and Thursday was the holiday. So we've only had 3 or 4 days of people coming in, and the times that I've been in here, I have to say that as exuberant how the kids are, and they try to touch things, it's the adults that seem to come up and want to shake a hand and put their arm around for a selfie and so on. So, I think we're going to put a few more security cameras up with don't touch the items, and we'll see how that goes.
We need a kiss cam.
We need a kiss cam.
My lease and I kissed him.
Yeah. Yeah,
how about just hire Bruce? He'll do security.
Spider-Man, Brad.
So I give the ladies the same thing I just told you. I said, I'm really worried about these statues coming over and the kids grabbing them and everything. I bring 2 of my board members in, Miley's Tucker and Debbie, and they come in, and what do? They give Spider-Man a full-on kiss. They're getting their selfies in there. And,
now, if they start hanging upside down for an upside down kiss, you got problems. Can you get a rope, maybe?
Here, that would work, Dad.
Maybe we'll do that.
We can add that to the experience.
Yeah, the upside down kiss experience, the kiss cam.
At the museum, we're going to have the upside down kiss cam.
I'll be the first to sign up to hang upside down with Spider-Man.
That sounds
As long as I'm tethered.
There you go. Hey, I want to go over your Facebook page again and your address if you guys want to go see this. Say the first name for me. I don't want to mess it up.
Lubeznik
Center for the Arts. You guys are at 101 West 2nd Street.
Correct.
In Michigan City, Indiana. And Bruce, you drove a bit to get to this thing, didn't you? About 7-8 hours.
Only 7 hours, only 500 miles. It's all in a day's work for a superhero, Brad. My pleasure to be here. I'm falling in love with this town. I've been here 3 days now, but it's been awesome to be here. As a kid, I would never imagine this, Brad. When I was 4, 5, 6, that we have an exhibit. And as you know, I'm all about the nostalgia and all about the emotional connection. So I had to be here. It's just been a pleasure. I almost actually cried yesterday walking in here for the first time, looking around. That's the kind of guy I am. But I don't know if anybody in your chat has any questions or things that they wanted to mention.
Yeah, chat. I'm going to go over a little bit how you follow all these guys, and but if you have any questions for the fellas, feel free to put it in chat, and I'll pop it up on the screen. But Lubeznik Center for the Arts is on Instagram, Twitter. They've got a website here, again, 101 West 2nd Street in Michigan City, Indiana. This exhibit is going until, I just had it, it's going until October 13th.
19th.
You guys want to check it out? There's a bunch of pictures of people just going around and looking at this stuff. You got all of it. Oh, who's it? Well, I don't know if you guys can see this. There's a guy with, is this you in costume, Bruce? A guy in Spider-Man costume?
A young man.
Oh, that's Aiden.
Aiden, okay. Aiden did a great job.
He's turned around a bad situation. He's a teenager. He's getting bullied in the Spider-Man costume, and he's turned around for good. And he's an honorary board member, and we're glad to have him here this weekend.
Yeah, that's awesome. The other thing is that this is free, right? So if you come, there's no admission cost. The Lubeznik Center for the Arts exists to promote the arts. And of course, our foundation exists to promote the virtues. So we are a proper 501c3. We are looking for donations so that we can take all of this and add another 90% to it and establish it as a permanent exhibit. And what we're going to do as a charity is that we are going to promote these virtues. When we find people like Aiden, who's an honorary board member, who we sponsored to come out here, we paid for his hotel, that exhibit heroic qualities like Aiden did. He handled that situation beautifully with class and honor. When we find projects that people are engaging in, whether it's getting monies for the local firefighters or animal rescue, that kind of stuff, or if we find organizations, those are the things that we're going to promote, subsidize, and help do the good works. So that we're taking our love of this stuff and trying to convert it into something good for the community.
And are you going to have the permanent museum at the dairy that your family owned back in the day? Is that what you're going to do in the future?
Nice of you to ask. Unfortunately, there's going to be a few other businesses in that building, so we're looking for another building, whether to rent or to buy as a charity, and it will be in Michigan City, that's for sure. So this city is for folks that don't know, it's a bit of a tourist town. We have a lot of folks that come in for the summer for the harbor marina and for the beach, and it's growing. It's on the ascent, so it's a great place to be. It's on the train line to Chicago, and folks should come and enjoy the town.
And also, we've got, if you want to help the charity, I've got it up here, the Graf Dairy Hero Foundation. Send a donation to P.O. Box 480, Hopewell, New Jersey, 08525. You can help this charity get started and help encourage kids to learn about great power, great responsibility, etc. So.
Oh, I don't know if you've got the files handy, Brad, but we've got 4 really cool posters to commemorate this particular exhibit.
Yeah, let me get that up. Let me pull that up.
Yeah, all the proceeds for those posters go to the charity also. We don't make a dime on it. We cover the cost of production, and we throw the rest of the money into into what we just talked about, right?
Here are some of the posters. We've got one here. It says "Be a Hero," and it talks about when you guys launched. And you've got another 60s Spider-Man looking through his camera here. And you've also got that's our DMs. You don't want to show that. Hold on a second. Here, let me pull it back up. I had them. And then you've got the Jack Kirby one with all the kids in front of. And you've also got Dr. Doom. The Graf Dairy Hero exhibit opens at Lubbock Center for the Arts July 1st. So, also, I don't want to leave Bruce out. Bruce, I want to plug your website, Spidey and Me. I'm going to pull it up.
Wow, this is the furthest I've
It
been
is right there.
to do my presentation. The furthest I've gone before this was probably 5 hours, so this was 7 hours. But it was all worth it. I had to be here in my mind. If I missed it, I would have hated myself forever. So I had to be here. I was glad to be here. But yeah, SpideyandMe.com. It's been a blessing to do the presentations. You got the ball rolling 4 years ago. I tell the people.
Has it been 4 years ago? That's crazy.
4 years ago, I've only been doing the presentation for 2 years, but now I've got the book done, but now I got to find a publisher, Brad. So we'll be talking about that later on. But it's just been all a joy, and to be connected to this foundation and what they stand for means the world to me.
When do you fellas hope to open up the permanent exhibit? Is it next year you're looking at, or what are you guys thinking about?
Yeah, I think next year is a good time. We have to find a building, that's the key, and we're looking at a few now. We've narrowed it down a bit. So it's a question of working out the economics and getting all the stuff out of boxes. We got a little time, right? Because this thing goes through October, and we have to box it up and get it ready for the next place that it's going to be. And if we're lucky, we'll land it on a place before this closes. But then it's going to take a long. I mean, for folks that I never did this before, and what I realized, and you folks probably know it intuitively, it takes a lot to get displays up and do it well. To put things out with a story and make it interesting to people and give them space to see it and spotlight it and so on. We can do it. It's going to take a little time. So we figure probably late next year. It's a good time. We've
got a couple comments. Hornacek says, Bruce should make me pay like everyone else to see your exhibit.
I don't get a dime either whenever I go.
No, just me. Make me just pay for it. Everybody else is free.
It's charging you 10 times, Brad. You can afford it.
There you go. Riza Ka says, I didn't know there were vending machines in the Americas back in the 1960s for comic books. So that was something he had no clue about.
There were definitely vending machines. Obviously, you saw that one. The only one I had seen before that, other than what we thought was, like I said, the ghost machine, was a 25-cent machine. My first comic book out of a vending machine was a 25-cent Luke Cage Power Man, number 17, the purple background. And I bought that out of a vending machine at a venture store in Gary, Indiana. So they're around.
Wants to know if you have any movie props, either on display there or in the future.
It's a good point. We pretty much put a container around our timeline from 61 to about 84 or so. So right around when Secret Wars start, that kind of ends our. We've got some stuff, right? We buy the statues, which are dead on to the 60s and so on. But really, that's our niche, and that's where we go deep. So other places like the Elkhart Hall of Heroes, Alan Stewart, who we just had dinner with last night. He has movie props over in Elkhart. And one of the things that we're thinking of doing is the Midwest is becoming a little bit of a superhero, I don't know, it's like a constellation. You've got the guy in Metropolis, Illinois, is doing a Superman thing. You've got the guy in Logansport, Indiana, I think it is. He has the Batcave.
Batman.
And he does all the Batmobiles down there, Mark, and you've got Elkhart, and now you're going to have us in Michigan City. So we're thinking of doing a little circuit, like let folks, see all this stuff on one ticket at some point.
Be awesome. We also have a comment that storyboard from the 60s Spider-Man cartoon is a treasure. I would agree. That's a rarity. What do you guys think? Do you think they should have filled in all the webs on that 60s costume on the chest? The animators hated doing it.
Oh, it wouldn't have been the classic 60s, version that we all love because it was so eccentric, but it was so basic back then. And as a kid, we never even realized it, so.
Whoa!
As a kid.
Now, Deb, I told you your arm would get tired after an hour.
I just got
That sacrilegious comment about the webs, Brad, you made her drop her phone.
But in Brad, I'm sure you know the backstory on that. Animation back then was hand drawn.
Right. They didn't want to draw those webs. Yeah.
Think about every movement of that guy's arms having to be
I know.
webs. That'd be a very difficult task. So.
We have a question about Leopardon from the Marvel 78 Japanese Spider-Man. Do you have anything in your collection or on display there?
It's a great point. I have in the collection, we have a lot of European toys. In fact, in the display box, you'll see an Italian that they sold the little acrobats where you push the buttons and they spin. They sold those loose in the United States in package, not loose. They sold them with a back card, right? But in Europe, in Italy, they stacked them in a point of sale box and they had a header. So we have that in there and a lot of Italian toys, a lot of English merchandise, but I have not gone into the Japanese stuff. And part of that, frankly, is the cost of it. It's off the charts expensive. And when you got a limited budget, you got to pick and choose where you're spending your
Aaron
money.
in chat has spotted one of those same vending machines that it's in the Delaware County, Pennsylvania hockey rink.
I'm going there. I just got to be close to me somewhere.
Delaware County, Philadelphia.
But we're open to donations, Brad. If anybody wants some of the Japanese stuff that we don't have,
Yeah.
we will credit you for your donations to the foundation at any point.
There you go.
Bruce brings up a good point, and maybe we close on this, Brad, if you want. But
Yeah.
monetary stuff is important to us. We got to get off the ground so it can self-perpetuate, right? So that the folks that really have an interest in this can donate when they come to the museum and help us do good works. But one of the things that would really, I think, be attractive to a lot of folks. There's a lot of people that are in our position. You're in your later years, you've collected this stuff, and you don't want to piece it out necessarily because it took 50 years to put it together.
Yeah.
And for the folks that really want to preserve pieces and have people enjoy all of their hard work and their skill in putting their stuff together, and they don't necessarily want to pay eBay fees or anything, all the other incidental costs that come along with trying to, sell your collection. Like I said, we're a proper 501c3. We can write receipts. You can get a great tax write-off, and we will credit you and put your stuff on display where it is revered and cherished and viewed by all kids with joy. So think about it, as you're looking through your stuff, and if you have things, certainly we have gaps in our collection too. Even if you don't want to put like everything in there, maybe there's a toy or two that if you contact us, it's rare. We would be thrilled. We do not resell for profit, right? So we are all about the joy of this stuff and the virtues. We're not about making money on the flip.
No doubt. Also, we got one last question from Aaron. He wants to know: do you guys own any Palatoy Bradgate carded superheroes? I've never even heard of those.
Yeah. So Palatoy was the Mego version in England, and we do have a beautiful. It's got to be near mint Palatoy Spider-Man Mego.
Awesome. And also to talk about Werner's charity, it's I've got it up on the screen, the Graf Dairy Hero Foundation. They're also on Facebook if you want to check them out. There's a bunch of pictures of the display going on too. So check them out. So gentlemen, any final thoughts? Wrap this up. It's going until October, right?
October 19th is the last day. Open every day of the week except Tuesday. And we're thankful to Lebesnick for doing it because it does give us a chance to let people know, hey, coming down the road, full-size museum, permanent museum, even bigger, more displays. But we're thankful for the opportunity this early in our foundation's history to have something of this magnitude. We're very thankful.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you, Brad, for your interest in helping us.
No problem.
Really appreciate it. You're very, and you know this already, but you're a very knowledgeable interviewer. You bring up great points and you help us fill in gaps. It was wonderful talking to you.
Well, it's nice to talk Spider Geek with you guys, as you will.
Got Deb behind the camera. We got to thank Deb for her.
Deb, thank you. You did great. Thank you, Deb. No, give me a thwip, Deb. Give me a thwip.
Oh, whip. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. Thank you. Rock on and thwip. There you go. Thank you, guys.